This assignment, you're just going to learn how to cut a person out of the background, make sure you have nice clean selections. You can do all of this with the pen tool, which we learned how to use in the beginning of the school year for everyone that's new. Here's one of the images that I'm going to be doing right now. You're just going to use the pen tool here, which is right here on the menu bar. You're going to zoom in pretty tight, and you are going to be clicking around the outside of the person. So you're pretty much silhouetting the person. And you don't want to get really close to the outer edge. You want to kind of come in just a little bit so that when you look at it, it's nice and clean. It's not going to have any of this color that we have out here. So this little gray color we have on the outside, we don't want that. And you're pretty much going around the image and you're clicking and you're pulling out your anchors to make that curve. This is why it's so important to learn how to use the pen tool where you're using the anchors for the curve. I don't want to see you just clicking each little section here. If I see that, it's still going to look like it's jaggy, and we don't want it looking jaggy. We want a nice curve. So you're going to go around making sure you have that curve. Creating that silhouette. So just creating the curve on the outside. When you get the hair and stuff like that, we may make the selection with an alpha channel. So if you're a little bit more advanced and you know how to come in here and make your selections with the pen tool, we are going to add another portion so that you can get clean selections of the hair using the alpha channel. We're still going to go around the outer parts of the person. I'm going to fast forward from now because it's pretty repetitive till we get to the inner parts. So once you go and you select the outside of the person that you have, you should have at least three people that you're doing. I may have gave a couple of you a little bit more than three, but for the most part, I gave 3 out to everyone. And when you're creating the line around the surface, you want to click and you want to drag kind of along that line to kind of keep it on the line, the curve on the line, so that, or the edge of the person, so that it looks very consistent all the way around. All right, once you're finished creating that outer edge, you're going to have to subtract the inner edge. So if you look up top here, you have a menu bar that once you select the path, you should have this menu bar. If you have something else selected, it switches to whatever tool that you have selected. So you're using a path, make sure it's on path, and we are making a selection, and what we want to do now is to cut the inner shape. So we want to exclude overlapping shapes, make sure that's selected, and we're just going to go ahead and create the shape inside here, and we'll also create the remaining shapes that we have on the inner side. So if you have a corner, and I know that a lot of you did the pen tool exercises, and you know if you click on Command or and then drag that little corner out, this will drag the curve to go on that direction. You could just click on the point, holding down Option to get that corner to go the right direction like this, and then close that shape. Alright, so I have my path selected. What I want to do is make the selection from the path. So I'm going to take this path and I'm going to drag it to this third icon from the left. And this is your selection icon. So it should make a selection there. So then I want to go to my layers palette. And to get to all the palettes, it would be under window. So you can see layers is there, paths is there. Right, so once you have your path created into a selection, or you are going to make sure that you change the name of this bottom layer and make sure it's something other than background, and you would go down here to your layer mask and you click so that you're taking away the background. You can see that what is there that you can see is white, and what you cannot see is black. So if I was to take a brush and start brushing out here, I would brush things back if I was on my layer mask. Right now I'm on the layer mask, right now I am on my layer. So if I'm on the layer mask and I took selection tool and made a box and I fill it with black, you will not see this part of his arm. So if I fill it with black, you cannot see that. So let me bring it back. And also, these two layers are linked. If you unlink those layers and you grab your original layer, and I go ahead and press V for the move tool, and I move this around, you can see that I'm moving the layer, the original layer, behind the mask. So it's, you undo that. So if I took the mask and I move the mask around, you can see it's doing the opposite. Alright, so we're at the point where we want to be. When you get this point, and what I did was in my selection, I just did a basic selection that looked like it was very clean and crisp. Now, if I wanted to bring back some of the details, let me make a duplicate of this and let me disable my layer mask. So what I did was pressed Control and clicked on my layer mask there to disable it. So I want to go into channels, and I want to just click on my blue channel. This is the darkest channel. I go zoom in, and I want to bring back little tiny details. Like this one doesn't really have a lot, so I want to try to get this little bit of hair back. So what I want to do is I want to go into this layer channel and I want to select all. I'm doing Command A, you can see it down here, and I am going to press Command, or I'm gonna copy this first, and then I'm gonna bring it over into first. Oh, what you do is, like when you're in the blue channel, you're just seeing that channel of blue, this channel of green or red. When you click on it, you can only see that channel. So I want to see it in RGB. I want to see it in full color. Then I want to go back to layers, go to this first channel and paste. So now I have my one blue channel as the top layer. I want to create some contrast, so I'm going to do Command L to pull up my levels. I want to select the white, so I make contrast between the background and the foreground where I want to make my selection. Hit OK. Now I want to kind of make this into sort of like a mask. So I want to take the darks and use it as a mask. So I go to select color range, and I'm going to select the lighter color. See if I go a little bit fuzzier. Maybe. Hit OK. You can see that some of that is selected. Let's get rid of this. Let's go back to this one here and use the brush. Since we selected the outside, we want to make an inverse of the selection, so we select inside. So we go select inverse. So now it selects the inside. So if we use white, we should be adding to our selection. So I'm going to use white. I'm going to hide my selection, and I can bring back some of that hair in here. And then on the other side, bring back some of the hair over here. You can see down here that it's bringing the bottom back in. Alright, so there we got a little bit more detail. Now, I want you to make another layer, put it on the bottom. Command D is deselect, or you could go up to edit and you can see where it's copy and paste is under edit and deselect. Command D, I thought it was under edit, but let's see. Should be under selection right here. Deselect, Command D. So I want to use this orange color, and if you click on the fill, you should be able to change the color. I use an orange, and I'm just going to go to edit fill. Fill with the foreground color for the background, and I'm going to put a layer on top of that just so that I can see how good the selection is, and I'll put a little gradient. So I'm going to use a yellow, and I'm going to go up to my gradient and use a radial gradient. Once you're at this point, you should go to File, Save As, and save to your computer. And you want to make sure it's a Photoshop PDF, and saving it to the desktop. I'm going to replace, I have to replace what's there because I had it saved already, and that's it. Just save it. You're going to upload this when you're finished. So each one of your images would have to be done in this way. Try one more thing here. Let's see. You guys don't have to do this. I just want to make sure everything looks right. You can see in the hair over here, it gets a little lighter. And there could be some adjustments there, but I just wanted to get you guys to get the idea, or understand the idea through this. There are ways that I would fix that. get rid of this one.